You're such an asshole.
Late night, Cappy. How you kids doing? All right, we got to bang this out so Cappy can go to Phoenix. Oh, by the way, to all my Phoenix listeners, going to be in Phoenix. And if you are one of the regular attendees of the Phoenix crew, which is a really freaking awesome crew, I will be going to the Fox Cigar over in Scottsdale. I'll let you know. I got my email list for the Phoenix guys, and it'll be within the next week. But I'll email you guys and all that. It'll be a grand old time, as it always. This is the group. I'll never forget this. I show up, oh, hey, Cappy, what's going on? They weren't that goofy, but hey, wow, Cappy, what's going on? And there's an electrical engineer, there's an actual rocket scientist, there's this hell of an entrepreneur who's now on he's got like 4 trucks. There's a pilot who landed on a glacier. There's all these really kick-ass guys, and they're like, oh, tell us about you. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Fuck that. What? I'm the least interesting one here. What? So it's a real cool crowd down in Phoenix. And then 2 guys I know, one's a buddy, another one's we had an email. They both moved to Phoenix, and they're doing really good. So it'll be good to see everybody there. And that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about something that I don't have the answer to. And I do not always have the answer to something, but I can try and give it my best, and maybe there's a correct answer in there somewhere, so hopefully we can at least maybe guide people towards the right direction. Young man writes, or not so young man. I'm 38, and I'm pretty sure I'm kind of fucking retarded, even though I probably have a decent IQ. The realization of this somewhere in my 30s has given me crippling social anxiety. I know these days it has thrown a long rot, but I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to believe you because you're 38, and the rest of our conversation, you don't sound like a pussy, and this just happened upon you. It's not like you didn't have a dad around, your dad was around, he was a pussy, and your mom ran all over him, and here you are, 23, you've never moved from, oh, I got social anxiety. No, it's just you're not a fucking retard. Because that is an insult to the mentally impaired. You're a weak, inferior soy boy. That is not your case, nor is it the case of people who are actually genuinely mentally impaired or mentally retarded. I think this sounds legitimate because it's not scripted. The rest of the context isn't there. The only people I could be anything like myself was with my immediate family. I get nervous around my 19-year-old son's friends. Somehow it seems like I'm not socially developed correctly. My speech and thought become childlike. When I say something, it comes out wrong. I've had people ask me if I was about to cry or something. Yeah, see, that's weird. That I would say, okay, something's off there. This isn't, I drink almond milk and I got a mental disorder. And we've emailed before, I'm saying, I think you should go talk to a therapist. This is one of the rare instances I would say, go talk to somebody like a speech pathologist, maybe a psychiatrist or a psychologist, whichever one isn't the frauds. And again, as I always say, you must find the grizzlied Vietnam veteran therapist to get the truth. Not Tina, the 26-year-old, got my PhD in psychology because I care about people who's never worked a day in her life. So this isn't normal. This is like, you can go talk to a pro, not me, but I'll try and help you out with some thoughts or theories. When I say something comes out wrong, I've had to cry, and the knowledge of that what I'm saying is coming out wrong just makes me more nervous. I've seen complete idiots that can socialize well. What the fuck is wrong with me, man? How can I be the person I want to be socially? And so I had a bunch of questions. I said, well, was this a recent development, or has it always been this way? Are you married, or did your wife divorce you, or what? I'm trying to find out some kind of recent trauma that would have thrown you off your game. What efforts have you made to socialize and speak in public? Also, what is your sleep schedule and diet schedule like? Anyway, can't guarantee blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. It's in the last 10 years or so. So, yeah, it wasn't always this way. It's happened since you were 28. I used to be pretty social and outgoing, even though I'm a bit of a dumbass. I'm married, have a wonderful wife, have been married for 13 years, and have 3 great kids, with one on the way. Wait a minute, your 19-year-old son, and you've been married 13 years. How let's do the math. 19, my 19-year-old son's friend. So you had a kid out of wedlock with or maybe not with your current wife. Sorry I didn't pick up on that earlier. I don't think it really has anything to do with it. I'm just busting your balls for fucking up. 19, you're 38, so you were fucking at 18 with nothing's wrong with that, but not with a condom. Something wrong with that. All right, 13, 3 gate, 1 on the way. Good Christ. My kids, my 8-year-old in particular, and my wife, is why this bothers me. My wife is an extremely social person. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Opposites attract. I think she can see how I could be socially, and I disappoint her when I got out and clam up and get all awkward and shit. And I think that I am failing my little boy as far as social things go. I go to bed pretty early and have a decent diet. I try to stay away from fast foods and eat a moderate amount. I'm in pretty decent shape, but not buff by any means. Okay. So you're not hitting the booze. I'm trying to think of anything that would fuck up your chemicals. It could just be the only thing you have to fear is fear itself, because you get freaked out like, oh, I'm worried about my 8-year-old. I'm worried about my wife being... I'm like, I wouldn't be worried. And you weren't worried 10 years ago, which is, again, makes me think, okay, did something change biophysiologically? Because you don't have any dramatic stuff that happened 10 years ago to the date, oh, my wife left me, or I lost a child. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, so that was it, but nothing's coming up on the radar. And please let me know if you have any more pertinent questions. Struggle with self-medicating and drinking to ease the issues before. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Stop drinking. Let's stop with that. Don't, you gotta know what your core self is. So let's get rid of the booze, any drugs, but you can't go around drunk and high all the time. Oh, high, you doing pot too? You think maybe that has effect on the brain? Knock that off. And I said, it might have been less than 10. I've been TRT for many years, but had to get on and off as we tried having another baby. Oh, okay, so I don't know, man. I just suddenly really disliked people. Any kind of social interactions felt like work, and they were tiring. The only social things that I do now are small ones. We had 3 pregnancies in as many years and lost 2 babies in very tragic and traumatic fashion. Okay, that's not good. Although your problems predate this, because it's been in 3 years. I'm just trying to get as much possible out there. I can't put an exact date on an exact reason. I can't explain why it happens, but it does. All right. I do not have a definitive answer. All I have is kind of trial and error things you can give a shot, which, by the way, is way cheaper than the therapist I'm still going to recommend you go talk to. I don't have a therapist in mind. I'm just saying you should probably also go talk to a therapist. It wouldn't even be a therapist. It would be a neurologist. People who study brain chemistry or neurochemistry, the actual science side of psychology, not that, well, you see, Freud said we all want to fuck our brother-in-laws. But here's just common sense advice from a guy, given what you told me. All right. It doesn't cost you anything to quit the booze, quit the pot if you're doing it. Actually, it saves you money. It pays you to do those things. So let's get rid of those things. Okay? The second thing I would do is, okay, you're eating healthy with the occasional fast food. That's fine. But what I've always found that helps me a lot with mental clarity and just psychology in general is running. I would be going and running. Do your regular workout, with the gym and all that. But I would be running a lot. And then you got to build up to it too. But start by doing 3 miles a day. Even if you can't run 3 miles, run half, and if you're really tired, walk the remaining 1.5 miles. But I would get to the point, or not every day, run every other day because your knees need to recover. I would try to get up to 5 miles every other day. That would be your goal. That's going to take a little bit. And again, it's not going to cost you anything except the time you put into it. And it'll improve your health. It'll improve your physical health. Even if it doesn't solve the problem, so what? And then if you find out it doesn't solve your problem and you hate running, then you could just quit. But it's not going to hurt you to go run, get up to 5 miles every other day, which I think would take, depending on where you live, because if it's really cold in winter, you're not going to be able to do it outside, so you have to do it on a treadmill. You should be able to get up to that in about 2 months easy, unless you're like overly weight, but it doesn't sound like it. So let's just try the running, because that's worked for me in the past before. I know a lot of people, you get not necessarily a runner's high unless you're doing 10 miles every other day. But let's try that. Get the blood flowing, get a little bit more cardio in. Again, shit up against the wall. Hopefully it'll stick. You could try to get your diet really healthy, like no carbs and keto and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Because I know when I get on carbs, I get pissed off. Or when I go on the keto diet and I don't do carbs, I get pissed off and angry. I am not a happy person. I am not a happy drunk when I don't have the carbs. But that's another thing that's not going to cost you anything. Try it, see if it works. If it doesn't, you know, after 2 weeks of no, I mean, you got to have some carbs. You got to have some carbs because your brain won't work otherwise. But, you know, do the low carb diet. See if that helps. If it doesn't, go back to eating carbs. And then the other thing is talk to your wife. Like, you're all worried what other people think. And I don't, normally by this age you wouldn't give a shit. What's great about approaching your phone, you just plain don't give a shit what other people think. I mean, in my 20s I didn't give a shit what other people. Now I really, really don't give a shit. I mean, I said, you know how many zero fucks I had before? We're going into negative fucks to give territory right now in 40. Matter of fact, I want you to hate what I'm doing because then I know I'm doing it right. Your concern about what other people think is what concerns me. You're getting nervous around your 19-year-old son's friends. What do you give a shit what they think about you? And no, really, you got to sit and answer that question. Again, I'm no therapist, but I would imagine your therapist would probably go in and, well, figure that out. Why do you care what a bunch of 19-year-old kids think about it? What, you afraid they're not going to let you join their club? You afraid they're going to beat you up in a post-apocalyptic world because you can't carry your own weight? Do you have to, what do you care? And then you worry about how your 8-year-old views you. And then you worry about you not being as social as your wife. You're not supposed to be as social as your wife. That's not supposed. There's nothing wrong with being not as social as your wife. It's almost impossible to be exactly the same level of social as somebody else. Some people are more social. Some people are less social. There's nothing wrong with either. There are extroverts. There are introverts. We need all types to make the world go around. Otherwise, it would be a really sucky, boring world. And there's nothing wrong. And you yourself will change. You maybe have been a more sociable person. Now when you say you're just, you know, here's another thing. You think you're not that smart. I wonder, how could it be the where was it up here before? I go to bed pretty early, have a decent diet. I try to stay away from fast foods and eat a moderate amount. I'm pretty decent. No, where was it? I don't see how you're failing an 8-year-old. 8-year-olds for socializing. You go play ball with them. You go look for frogs together or turtles. Turtles are really cool. Where did you say you just can't stand talking to people? Yeah, stop doing the booze and the pot. That would be number one. Somewhere in here, okay, I recall here saying that you're just not that interested. You don't want to be social as much as you used to be. That could just be you getting old and you, not one. Oh, here. I just suddenly really disliked people. Any kind of social interactions felt like work and were tiring. The only social things that I do now are small ones. Dude, that is, maybe not you, but that's a pretty clear sign of someone who's pretty smart with a high IQ. And I don't just say that because I'm trying to sell books. I'm saying it because I'm trying to sell books. But also because it's true. One of the biggest mistakes highly intelligent people make, especially if they don't know they're intelligent, they think they're stupid because they just did bad in school, is they cannot tolerate the mundacity, which isn't a word, it's mendacity, but I like, it's mundane and acity combined together. The mendacity and the mundacity, the boringness of the average person. Let's go to a party, let's go to the sports bar, let's watch the game. Kablam! And especially if you don't know any better, you're taught that, I thought, oh, I got to go to the nightclubs. This is in the 90s. I got to go to nightclubs. I got to like this music. I got to go hit on girls here. And I'll admit, it was fun. I did enjoy the music. I did enjoy moshing. It was a thing. It was the last time youth actually got a bloody lip at doing something. You millennials wouldn't understand. Avocado and toast. Like little fucking squirrels with beards. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to go and hang out with boring people. And there are very few intelligent people out there. And you're also getting older. Nothing wrong with like, yeah, I'm not interested. Okay? So that's another thing, is you just be getting older and not giving a shit no more. And it could be a combination of all these things. You're way too worried about what your wife thinks or what your kids are. Why are you worried? And you panic more, then you do become a bumbling idiot. It could be the drugs and the booze. It could be a biophysiological things caused by booze. You could have a tumor, for fuck's sake, and it has nothing to do with any of the social stuff. It's just all of a sudden there's an actual physical thing wrong with your brain. Could be a chemical imbalance. Could be a tumor. I don't mean to freak you out with the tumor. I'm just saying it could be. Which is why I think you really ought to maybe go talk to a speech pathologist. They might say, oh, your motor skills or something's wrong. Yeah, oh, they would recognize it more than what I would. I'm just giving you all the possible things that are coming to mind right now. You're getting older. You don't care anymore. Is there maybe problems associated in the past with the miscarriages or something? Yeah, possibly, but it doesn't date back to the 10-year mark, so I don't know. I don't really think it's that. It could be, I don't know. And it could be exercise, could be diet. But I'll tell you this, what concerns me the most is the authenticity of this. Again, you're not the 24-year-old virgin. I got social anxiety disorder. It's like, no, you're just a fucking pussy. That's why. That's not you. This hit you way later. You were trying. Stuff this is different. This is definitely different. So I think it's a legitimate problem, and I would go talk to I really hate psychologists out there. I really hate them, man. You got to find a good one. I would be going more the scientific route. Speech pathologist. Does this sound familiar? Because you're having trouble speaking. He or she might know. Like, oh, go talk to your regular doctor. Neurologist. Is there something wrong? Does this sound like stroke land? What's going on? I mean, the number one thing you'd want to knock out is brain tumor. That would be the number one. You knock that out, then your problems are pretty odd. Just nervous around my wife. Okay, we can handle that. Brain tumor, a little bit more serious. Talk to your wife. Ask her if she gives a shit if you're social or not. She may not care. Like, no. And I would still, even though I detest them with all my heart, almost as much as teachers, if you could find yourself a legit therapist, not Tiddlywinks Magoo, who just came fresh out of fucking, UW psychology study, never worked a day in her life, lived off of mommy and daddy, 27 years old, has a ton of student loan debt, and she herself is on medication. Again, the grizzled old pissed off Vietnam vet who happened to get a degree in psychology. I don't know where you find someone like that. I would like to make it as simple as don't talk to female psychologists. It's not, because there are guy psychologists that are soy. Try to find a masculine psychologist who's had a real job in the past, who then, as a second career, went and became a psychologist or a therapist. Could be a cop, could be ex-military, could be baker, mechanic, accountant, anybody who had their foot in the real world, not a pure academician who's never worked in the real world, never associated with real people, and they themselves are fucked in the head taking drugs themselves, okay? You don't want to talk to those therapists. And then I would see what they say. But that's all it comes to mind right now. And I wish it's this. I don't know what it is. But trying all these things is not going to hurt you or cost you anything. Working out, dieting differently, talk to your wife, trying to really think, why does it bother you? You're nervous around 19-year-old kids. Shit, if anything, you should be like, hey, you dumbasses, let me explain to you how you get to be the old pissed-off middle-aged man. You ever watch Middle-Aged Man, the Saturday Night Live skit? Mike Myers. I'm middle-aged man. Oh, no. Maybe that was his, middle-aged man. Your 8-year-old son, my dad, go hang out with. How hard are you? Here's a wiffle ball. Let's go play ball. And then the booze and the drugs, knock that off. If you do all of that at the same time, no booze, no drugs, working out, dieting, trying not to give a shit, meditate, really think through, talk to your wife, and if all of a sudden it goes away and you're talking normally, cool. But I don't see why you can't call the speech therapist tomorrow, set an appointment with your doctor, see what he or she recommends. And then maybe start searching. So start your search now for a therapist. I have a feeling it's going to take a long time to find a therapist that isn't fucked in the head themselves. That's going to be a long time. And if you find one, send them my way. Send them my way, because I would love to recommend a legit therapist who, yes, they went through Freud, Jung, behavioral cognitive. They went in there, okay, that's all bullshit. Here's the real deal. And I would very much appreciate having a real therapist on speed dial with real world working experience, and not some fucking bint fresh out of school like, oh my God, yeah. So I have my cats and my wine, and I take ADHD and antidepressants because I'm a therapist and it's so hard living off my parents' money. You don't want that. All right. Best of luck to you. Wish I had a correct answer. Give that a shot. And number one thing, make sure you ain't got a brain tumor, Cappy. How do I, what's sad? It would be sad if, speech is one of the things to go. When you got a stroke or you had a mini stroke, I hope to God it ain't that. That'd be the first thing I'd talk to the doc. Doc, I'm having trouble speaking. I'm nervous. What the hell? And then like, all right, let's figure it out. But yeah, this is now entering the realm of the real professionals, starting with the medical professionals. And see where that takes you. Me and my, workout, diet, and all that common sense stuff, you can do that. But yeah, go talk to the doc. Time to go talk to the doc. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.